From an extremely expressive hand to fencing and cello lessons. Let's begin dissecting the rules that the cast members of Wednesday had to follow in order to get those favorite outcomes. Jenna Ortega and the other cast members have a never-ending list of considerations. The perfectionist filmmaker Tim Burton, who knew exactly what he wanted, included the fact that he only wanted Jenna Ortega for the character of Wednesday, and wasn't ready to compromise, was one factor in these never-ending demands. Fortunately, Jenna agreed and, despite the fact that those guidelines were quite obvious, she was prepared to follow them. So, what strict rules did the amazing cast of Wednesday have to follow? We'll spill them in today's video, but before any of that, make sure first that you subscribe and smash that notification bell for more updates like this. Let's jump in. 1. Learn German. For the sake of the program, Jenna had to bear the burden of doing several tasks before she could speak even a few lines from the series fluently in German. Even though it was just for a minute or less, she needed to sound very fluent and not mess that up. She had to attend a number of lessons. To top it all off, German is not an easy language. On the other hand, the scene in which she spoke German was executed quite well. 2. Jenna had to cut her own hair. Even though getting her ready for the shoot didn't take long, Jenna had to go above and beyond to achieve Wednesday's signature, icy and enigmatic appearance. Wigs are commonly used by performers in films and television shows. It is simple to alter them so that they precisely fit the role. On Wednesday, though, it was definitely not the case. Since Jenna Ortega had to do her own hair cutting, it actually fit her perfectly. 3. Learn to play the cello. Creating that bond was difficult for Ortega because she wanted to feel more connected to her in the role. Wednesday engages in a variety of hobbies throughout the series, including fencing, cello playing, and boat navigating. Her hands were very much full. Although it's not unexpected that she didn't know all of this, it took her months for her to fully understand everything. While it looks like the song Wednesday is playing on her cello is the one we hear, sadly it is not. Wednesday is only seen to be her actual self when she is playing her cello, and it merely seems that that is the only time she feels tranquil. Despite the fact that Wednesday is only shown playing the cello twice during the 8 episodes, and not even the song we hear, she still plays the instrument. She puts a lot of effort into that act to make it so convincing. For almost 2 months, Jenna had to take cello lessons twice a week to make the cello performance convincing enough that we didn't realize it wasn't the melody. 4. Jenna had to take fencing lessons. Jenna is seen in an amazing scene she shares with Bianca, who is portrayed by Joy Sunday. When Wednesday joins Nevermore and challenges Bianca to a fencing match in an effort to establish her name, the outfits, the mask, and everything else in this sequence made it undoubtedly one of the most entertaining to watch in the entire series. Here's an amusing tidbit about those costumes. It took 20 minutes for the cast to use the restroom. Anyway, Ortega had her worries about the situation and needed to train with Bianca for a while. Jenna said in an interview, "I honestly was so nervous about this part because I want to do her justice, so I went to fencing lessons twice a week." Jenna, given her preferences, didn't want a stunt double exclusively for the combat scenes. Usually, stunt doubles shoot the fighting scenes, or to put it another way, the scenes in conflict. She wanted to shoot them personally because she enjoyed the procedure and the associated pleasure. Of course, the procedures forbade it because she could have easily hurt herself. 5. No blinking. Jenna also had to move and talk like the dispassionate figure she portrays in addition to learning the cello and fencing. She needed to walk with style and confidence, starting with her posture. Additionally, Jenna Ortega was later instructed to walk without moving her hands. But wait, there's more. Tim Burton understood Wednesday had accomplished something more when he saw how beautifully she had mastered this wonderful, self-assured but stiff posture. Tim watched Jenna's actions closely in a scene even though Jenna herself was unaware of what she had done. For a considerable amount of time, Jenna didn't blink, which may have been the secret to nailing the Wednesday look. After Tim Burton noticed, he asked her to not blink anymore in the succeeding scenes and maintain that sharp gaze she established. I remember Tim did not want me to have any expression or emotion at all. He wanted a flat surface. At some point during the first couple of weeks of shooting, I did a take where I did not blink at all, and Tim said, "I don't want you to blink anymore." And after that, you can literally count how many times she accidentally blinked. 6. Thing had to be performed by an actual actor. The experience Jenna Ortega had while filming on Wednesday had been described, and it appears to have been challenging. But who had it harder? Thing, because it turns out that Thing is an actual human hand, portrayed by Romanian magician Victor Durubuntu, and isn't the result of any special effects. It's one of the most challenging parts in the show or in television in general, since it takes significant skill to convey personality and emotions through only hand movements. It appears simple at first, but as soon as you consider what Victor went through, your perspective will be completely altered. Let's begin with the blue bodysuit Victor had to wear every day because the rest of his body had to be taken off from the visuals as he was only a hand. And you might not think the blue bodysuit was bad until you realize he also had to cover his face. It became so challenging that the costume designers had to make a hole in the outfit for him to be able to breathe properly. Because he had to film next to a wall upside down, under the table and inside the walls, Thing's stunts only got more difficult with each episode. In one episode, he even had to swim in actual water. When Tim Burton asked to shoot a sequence underwater, it proved to be the most challenging. He managed to do that, and it was a big success. When questioned about the most challenging moment he performed, Victor mentioned the opening episode scene in Wednesday's room. He narrated, "They just made a hole under the bed for my body, and my hand was sticking through the mattress, and my head was like turning, looking at the small monitor under there. It was very hard to breathe and keep it going, and my hand was going numb." 7. Learn how to paint. It's reassuring to realize that Jenna wasn't the only one pursuing new interests or language for the sake of the role, even though that sequence was only displayed for less than 5 seconds. Xavier, who is played by Percy Hines-White, had to spend no more than a minute learning how to paint. He was fortunate to be able to save part of the artwork. 8. Spend shooting months in the chilly regions of Romania. The cast ensemble bonded via their conversations about relocating to Romania, despite the fact that they all faced very difficulties because it lasted for about 8 months and was the first time he had ever been on his own for so long. Percy regarded it as one of the hardest challenges he had ever faced. Moving on, Jenna had to radically alter her lifestyle owing to the varied cultures and bland meals while she was temporarily residing in Romania to film the series. In spite of the fact that she mentioned several times that she was a vegan, she had to stop due to the fact that vegan food was very hard to come by in Romania. Regarding this matter, she mentioned, "I was a vegan for a very long time, but I stopped being vegan when I went to Romania. The food is very different there, and I don't think I was meeting my nutrition requirements. I started eating fish again, so I'm currently a pescatarian." Well, it's apparent that there must have been a lot of rules Jenna and all the other Wednesday cast and crew had to follow, but all of those are obviously worth it. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.